obsessed with the Connie Pheiff Show. It's about a lifestyle shift to move up or out.
Hey, what's your jam? What's the one thing that really drives you? What makes you unstoppable?
It's about opening a new door to live your dream.
People give up way too early on their dreams.
It's about enjoying the journey. It's about keeping it real.
Damn, now the interviewee is interviewing the interviewer. I like this.
It's all about you.
I knew there was something else I wanted to do. Stop taking shit so seriously. Y'all can do this. Take an outrageous look at life and laugh.
This is the Connie Pheiff Show.
We love your voice. We love your jam. You need to be on radio.
And now your host, Connie Pheiff.
Hey everyone, it's Connie Pheiff and welcome back to another episode. And this week we have another crazy one. And these guys and gals, they just keep doing it. They're shifting, they're moving, they're rocking and rolling, and they're making it happen. I really like to say they're really making shit happen because that's exactly what they're doing. They are activating their brand and they are building lifestyle businesses. And today's guest is really about helping others not just build a lifestyle business, but his goal is to help you build a secure future for you and your family. If you're considering franchising, and I know a lot of people are, his group represents more than 500 of today's leading franchise opportunities. So he's making those connections between both the franchisee and those who want to be the franchisor. So let's bring into the Connie Pheiff studio, Lance Graulich.
Well, hello, Connie.
Hello, and how are you?
Fabulous. Happy to be here. Very excited to be here.
Great. I love when people are excited to be here. It just makes it so much nicer. So how are you recovering? Or I shouldn't even say recovering because we're still going through it. How are you managing your business going through all of the COVID and chaos that's going on in the world right now?
COVID and chaos. I think there was an initial sort of shock. The shock and awe of it all. What is a lockdown? What do you mean we can't go anywhere?
Right.
This is the United States. This is America.
Right.
Aren't we free to roam? The reality is once the initial couple days or week wore off for myself, my phone kept ringing. My leads kept coming in. And here's the way I sort of divide everybody up in my world. 50% of the people that are coming to me now are really, really serious about getting into their own business.
Right.
Most of them are corporate refugee types that either were forced out. Right. Quite a few executives that were forced out. Look, we don't know how long this is going to be. So you might want to look for something else, regardless of the fact that they might have been with that company for 15 years. And then there's quite a few others that have seen it all over the years and have worked for 25 years plus and said, the heck with this. Right. I'm not waiting for another disaster. I'm going to control my own destiny. And, and then the other half of the group entirely that, there are a lot of those folks that are scared out of their mind, even before the pandemic hit. And this is just another excuse for them to remain on the sidelines. And I love helping them with their mindset and, giving them enough knowledge that their fear subsides, their anxiety subsides, and they're ready to make a move. But, and my first question is always about, investment level, lifestyle. What are you looking to attain?
Right.
You don't want just another JOB, which we always knew stood for just over broke in most cases.
Right.
So in my world, it's great. That's the long answer to your question. It's great. And, crisis breeds opportunity. And many people have said things of that nature since the pandemic hit. Yes. You just have to be careful. Now is not the time to buy a big box restaurant franchise.
Right.
You don't want a 5,000 or 6,000. Exactly. You don't want a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot restaurant, but even, surprisingly, there aren't a lot of industries that are really bad right now. There's quite a few that are recession proof, recession resistant.
Right.
And we can certainly get into that later. But so the answer to that question is things have never been busier for me.
I think you're right. Initially, it was the shock of we can't do what? I can't go to the gym today. Yay! No, boy, what an excuse. But really, and just like you said, maybe we're seeing the same people, because there are definitely three different categories of people: those that are coming out to us and saying, executives, very high level individuals, and saying, well, Hollywood is closed. There's no sports going on. My company's shut down. And it's a lot of people that were saying, before this even happened, like, I want to get out of the 9 to 5. I don't want to be doing this anymore. What can I do next? How can I control my own destiny? And, where do I go? And then you have those that we have worked with that are really like just stuck their head in the sand and said, I'm just going to ride this out. And it's like, you just can't ride it out, because there's so many opportunities happening out there if you just think differently. And I was a moderator on the last couple of weeks, a couple different programs, and that was the theme. You need to think differently. You need to shift that mindset, because there are so many opportunities out there. You just have to be careful, like you said, that you're not buying, investing into a box store when there's nobody coming into the store. So
nobody allowed to come into the store,
or nobody allowed to come into. We're all doing drive-bys. So what are some of the top reasons that people, and you say, should become a franchise?
Yeah. Well, the top reasons that people should buy a franchise is you're looking at something that is proven, that has a history, that has a system, that has training systems set up, a group that can teach you, look to the leadership of the franchisor as you become a prospective franchisee. And that's what I do. I'm an advocate for you, for prospects. My services are free. That's a lot of times that's kind of mind blowing for people. They say, well, wait a second. You help me for free? Absolutely. This isn't like real estate where if you avoid me, you avoid paying commission.
Right.
Potentially. In this case, the brand is going to pay, you're going to pay the brand the same franchise fee, regardless of whether you use a franchise consultant / broker like myself or not. So, the beautiful part of franchising is the validation stage. The validation stage is if you get through the test, so to speak, and it is a two-way street, like a marriage. So even if you've been unsuccessful in marriage, you can certainly take those lessons and,
become a franchisee.
Exactly. No, but in business, it is like a marriage. It's a two-way street. I've had quite a few. I had a CPA I was working with recently. A lot of money, a lot of success in real estate and business. And he was, quite honestly, he was quite obnoxious with some of the brands. And I had a very well-known brand, their head of their VP, who I'm friends with, call me and say, holy cow, what is wrong with him? And I said, I had a feeling he'd be a little bit too arrogant for you.
Right.
And I did knock him down a few pegs and explain this is a two-way street. They have to like you. It's not just you about liking, you liking them.
Right.
And let's just say they exited him from the process. He was disqualified. They don't want to do business with him. But the validation.
That is the joy of working with people at such a high level that we do. Because we sometimes we do have to knock them down a little bit.
We do it. And I did it in a nice, respectful way.
Yes, yes.
And I did find him something else that was more his speed.
Okay.
And I think he took that to heart. But the validation stage is crucial. At the end, when you realize this is a brand that you want to be with, you've gone through some sort of discovery process, although many of those are virtual these days.
That's right.
Meet the team, tour the corporate office, have dinner. I mean, virtual dinner is no fun or what have you, but it's part of this process.
Yes.
But the validation stage is where you have an opportunity to really speak to franchisees just like yourself and that are with the brand. And you get to ask all kinds of questions like, would you do it again? Are you happy with the support you're receiving? What truly is the profitability and the ramp up? Because as you certainly know, Connie, and some of your listeners might know, the franchise process is regulated by the federal government.
Right.
You need to receive a franchise disclosure document that will disclose certain things that are very important about the brand. But there are sometimes holes in that aren't necessarily disclosed. And again, the validation process helps you with that. So you're going into the franchise process, you should be going in with your eyes wide open. And I oftentimes do have people come to me and say, well, what do you think? I really love this brand. I really love this brand. And
so how do you identify? I mean, are you looking at what are the hot industries, especially the hot industries in the market right now?
Exactly. I just had a corporate gentleman, 28 years with one company, super, super successful. When he came to me, he said, I do not want anything brick and mortar. I prefer a resale if there's a resale available. He had certain criteria. I don't want to spend $500,000. I'd rather spend less. If I can get an SBA loan, that would be fantastic. And we looked long and hard for 3 months during a pandemic. And he fell in love with a brand that's B2B. That actually this brand has no business during the pandemic if they did not adapt. I hate the word pivot. Adapt. And they adapted and they shifted everything online as any good company would. And have had a tremendous amount of success with that. And not only did he buy into it, he became an advisor to the company now based on his tremendous resume with this incredibly high-profile company for 28 years.
Very nice.
Snatched him up and said, thank God you're a franchisee. We need your advice through this pandemic. We need you to join our executive team. And it was just another success story. But there's so many options, but it all starts with that first phone call.
Right. There's a lot of options. And as I had shared, we're franchising. And there was a lot of searching and how do we do this and, the legalities of it and, what goes into that. So it's definitely a process. So how do you help set up independent businesses to franchise, as you say, within 90 days?
Yes. So I like to say I'm the one-stop shop. My team is the one-stop shop for anybody that wants to have anything to do with franchising.
Well, we'll be chatting.
We just did a webinar on franchising your business. And, look, for us, it's about the sales side. The legal side is required, but we would like to represent you on the sales side, which is why we do it reasonably. I mean, many years ago, it was still $100,000 to set up your company to franchise. It's come down quite a bit over the years. But we have a very nice, very affordable package. We even do payment plans because it does take typically 90 days. So we either set up a 90-day or 120-day payment plan. Credit cards accepted, of course. And we help with every piece of the process from the business plan. We actually have different members of the team. We have about 24 employees out of our office. I live in Las Vegas, but this office in particular is in Atlanta. And each person takes a piece of the plan. We start with the business plan and end up with all the legal, the FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document, franchise agreement. We even include the operations manual. We start with, what do you have created so far? As you can imagine, Connie, plenty of entrepreneurs don't have much on paper. And then on the other hand, many do. So
many do. But you have to have those articles of incorporation, your operations, oh my God, there's documents that you need to have prepared.
There's a lot, but how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And that's all.
But as a business owner, and a lot of people are stepping into this now, some for the first time, those are very important documents that you should have prepared.
Absolutely.
You should have those.
I did speak to somebody the other day that said, we're doing some franchising, and he talked about what he was doing. And I said, no, you're not doing franchising. You're a licensing group.
Talk about the difference between that licensing and franchising, because that is something that we've looked at as well.
Yeah. The legal definition really has everything to do with control. Mm-hmm. In a franchise scenario, I'll use McDonald's as an example because everybody knows it.
Right.
If McDonald's is a franchise, so when you buy into McDonald's, you have to have the exact same uniform, the exact same training process, adhere to the standards of McDonald's Corporation.
Right.
You cannot go to Costco and decide to buy hamburger meat there because you found it a little cheaper or you think it's a little better. Mm-hmm. You don't have that right. You are following their system to a T,
yes,
including vendors, preparation, food prep, what have you. And if you choose to, let's say, add hot dogs to your menu, you cannot absolutely do that to your menu as a McDonald's franchisee. Now, if McDonald's was a licensing agreement, you might not even have McDonald's on the outside of the building. It could be, Connie's Burgers,
right?
And you could have the hot dogs because McDonald's could not exercise that level of control. Right. They might, license the Filet-O-Fish or the Big Mac or, a specific grill that you buy, but that is not a franchise system. A franchise system, you're exercising that control, you're using the trademark name, and you cannot deviate unless, of course, the corporation adopts that. Right. Now, most importantly, as a franchisor, if you were going to exit and sell your company, private equity groups really like the franchise world today. Right. It's predictable cash flow. They're not necessarily into licensing the same. I mean, if it's an individual product, that's one thing, but franchising is very attractive to private equity. Because for
resale, franchising is much better. Absolutely. Because of the control, like you said, that you have, where if you're licensing, they can willy-nilly, throw their hot dogs on the menu and maybe it doesn't match and fit to the brand that's there.
Yes, so it can be willy-nilly in licensing. And if a franchisor is selling, even before the pandemic or even during the pandemic, a franchisor can sell for 10 times cash flow. When your cash flow is not only your corporate stores, but also your royalty stream from franchisees, which becomes your net worth. And that, 10 times cash flow is a pretty substantial number.
That's very
for a franchisor.
Yeah. So I do have to throw in, since you brought up McDonald's, it was my grandfather who created and designed the very first McDonald's Golden Arches.
Holy cow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but that stream of income has long died.
It was probably a one-time design fee.
It was just a one-time design fee because he just knew everybody.
That's okay.
That was okay. We still have that claim to fame in the family.
I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, really cool, really cool. The Connie Pheiff Show is heard everywhere. You can find The Connie Pheiff Show on most of your favorite networks. It's time to now recognize and thank our major networks for all of their support. In the house, we have Conscious Business Radio, C-Suite Radio, Transformation Radio, iHeartRadio. We are also heard on Google Play, Apple, Radio, Stitcher, and so many more that I just can't keep up with them all. I'm Connie Pheiff, your unstoppable diva. Learn more about our gym and how we can work together at my fancy schwanky website, ConniePheiffShow.com. I'll see you over there. Until then, like, share. Now back to the show. So Lance, with all of that you do, and I was looking up, a lot of your information. So let me ask you, why are you unstoppable?
Well, I mean, I can tell you I'm unstoppable. I'd have to go back and give you my history. I mean, both my grandfathers were entrepreneurs. My dad pretty much knew I was not going to be employable for very long. I had too many ideas on how things should be done. I'm unstoppable because I have a passion to help people. I was a franchisor of several very prominent brands. I was very successful as a franchisee. I made, I did really well. However, I made a lot of mistakes along the way that I would have liked to take back. And along the way, between my professional advisors, attorneys, accountants, and what have you, I still made mistakes and had to go through my first or second round of attorneys and accountants. So my passion is to help people avoid those mistakes. Okay. Every mistake that I made was avoidable. Okay. And, I want to help people. And through my practice, and now, I represent closer to 580 franchise brands. I definitely represent more brands than anybody today out there. And I want to help people. And because my services are free, I can help people find a franchise that fits them. Right. And again, franchises come in every size and investment range. There are a lot of misconceptions out there that everything's McDonald's and you have to be wealthy to get into a franchise. I have franchises that are $65,000 that you can net $500,000-$600,000 a year from your house.
Right. Well, we'll be talking. But you're absolutely right, though, and that's the foundation that our business is built on, because you don't know what you don't know when you're starting a business. I was a CEO and started down the path of having my own entrepreneurial business. And I made a lot of mistakes. I only had to get the attorney involved once, thank goodness. And
Lucky you.
Learn that lesson. But it's stressful, and it is stressful having your own business. But that's one of the things that I work so hard on, to helping people not have to go through that, and giving them this is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be watching out for. This is how you protect your intellectual property, because I don't want anyone to have to go through that, because it's a financial, stressful time as well when you have to do something like that. So I've been down that road as well. But I think as we grow as entrepreneurs, and you're not sitting there with that corporate name behind you, and especially like you, I had some very great corporate positions and I loved them. Like I said, I made it all the way to the CEO's position and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be doing my own thing. So, and that's what we're finding with a lot of people now coming forward, and almost to where some are saying, I'm so happy. They're not happy that COVID happened, but they're happy that this has pushed them, giving them the opportunity to say, now I'm going to do what I really want to be doing, and, and take control of my life. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities out there. So how do you want people, how do you want the world to hear from you as a person, Lance?
Well, hear from me as to contact me, or hear from me as...
Hear from you as who you are. We'll get to the contact information.
Oh, got it. Well, look, I have been very successful. Most people that do what I do as a franchise consultant and franchise broker are salespeople. They might have sold something else prior and fell into franchising. I am not that. I am a professional franchise executive. I help people start up their franchise organizations. I still do quite a bit of consulting. Although my one single passion with all of these brands and my team is to help people find their perfect franchise. Mm-hmm. So I want people to understand that you're going to get an ear or two where I'm going to listen to what your real origin story is and help you find your passion. Because there are multiple parts and pieces to this puzzle into how I find people their perfect franchise. Mm-hmm. By the way, I do have a free assessment on my website at ionfranchising.com that helps me and the team understand what people's passion, what people's risk tolerance, what people's skills are, and what brands they might be most compatible with. But I want people to understand that, don't be scared. Don't misunderstand what franchising is all about. Mm-hmm. I love to explain to people, and it seems that I do it every day, why they should get into a franchise. So many people want to start their own business, and that is fantastic.
Yes.
However, there's a tremendous amount of risk. I have created my own concepts and sold them successfully, in addition to franchising. But I've also had some that I'd rather, take back and would have never started again with the people that I got involved with.
So there's definitely that up curve starting your own business like I did.
Absolutely.
And so there's definitely that up curve in the trials and, what's working, what's not working. But will you be ever satisfied with the work that you're doing?
I am truly satisfied. That does not mean, Connie, that I will not either give birth to another concept.
I see that happening.
or do a franchise. Maybe have my kids involved in that. But what I'm doing now is fantastic because it's the ultimate lifestyle. When we were in Hawaii last year or Mexico, I still did my work. All I need, what I do is the absolute 100% true. Yeah, it's lifestyle entrepreneurship. Right. It's being off the grid, but still having an internet connection if that's possible.
Right.
And here I am. And it's just doing these wonderful podcasts with people like yourself, to get the word out there as to what I do. Right. And, sort of the law of attraction, attract people to me. But franchising is modeling success. Tony Robbins is one of the famous entrepreneurs that have said it.
He is.
And that's what I want the message for people to understand. And what I help people with is the clarity part. Clarity is currency, one of my other favorite expressions these days. And I love to get people really clear on, you might want a salon business, although through a pandemic, it's still questionable as to when we're officially out of that.
Right.
But prior to the pandemic and after the pandemic, it's still a fantastic business. I have a friend that has $1.5 million in cash flow, and he does talking annual cash flow with franchise salons. Right. And he started with that 12 years ago. The guy doesn't even have hair, but a consultant friend of mine set him up. And
it's working, right? And it's working.
He's making far more money than he ever dreamed.
Right.
And barely works.
Right. I love the whole concept. And what was that again? Clarity is
currency.
Right. You need to coin that phrase. So if there was
the domain.
Oh, good for you. If that was my legal thing, it was whole trademarks and things that was it. So I always tell people, make sure you get it. So if there was ever a song about you, we could call it Clarity is Currency.
I'll let you sing it. Okay. I can't sing.
I know. I don't have the pipes for that either. So Lance, what's next? Anything new? Or are you just going to stay totally focused on franchising? And it sounds like you're doing wonderful with it.
What's really next is continuing to get my word out there. Eventually, I'll plan on having my own podcast and certainly have you on as one of the first guests as well. You've done such an amazing job. I've
been at it 8.5 years.
I am interviewing one of the sharks. One of the sharks from Shark Tank. I won't tell you which one. It'll be a big surprise in a few days, who is very much involved in the franchise world. But, look, I'd love to be on TV talking about franchising because, again, there's so much to tell. We'll
need to get you on the label so you can talk about that to people more. So we'll have to talk about that too. So Lance, I want to thank you for being here. And just a final thing, we'll let people know where to find you. And again, where they can grab that free assessment from you.
Well, free assessment is at Ion Franchising, ionfranchising.com. And scroll down a little bit. You'll see it on social media. It's just Ion Franchising. You'll be able to find me pretty easily on Instagram and Facebook. And it's been amazing, Connie. I really appreciate it. Everybody should make the first move and give me a call.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to thank you for being here. Love chatting. Yeah, I love chatting with you. I mean, we could always continue and solve the world problems, but we got to go. And that's all we have for today, everyone. And thanks for being here and continuing to follow your passion, your dreams, and also sharing the Connie Pheiff Show. Keep your comments coming. I love to get them. Your tips, your suggestions. Our goal is to always continue to provide you the tools that you need, the secret sauce you need to grow your small business, your entrepreneurial lifestyle business. So I'll see you next week, and be kind to each other. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, y'all, it's Connie Pheiff. Thank you for listening to the Connie Pheiff Show. Check back often. You don't want to miss any of the good stuff. If you like what you hear and would like to be a guest on the show, head over to theconniefeifshow.com to apply. While you're there, check out our amazing advertising opportunities that will put you right in front of your perfect client. I will see you over there. Do yourself a favor this week. Activate your power and be unstoppable together.